Hi everyone, welcome back. Hope you had a nice week full of baby steps. I enjoyed also hearing back from everybody about what those were. Some people said yoga, some people said meditation, others shared that they were going to be in bed at a certain time, movement. Some people said that they were going to definitely do more water. I just really enjoy hearing what is working for you and also just that you are taking small steps. Somebody shared today that they typically don't think small and they just think grandiosity. And that can work when you have the energy for grandiosity, but when you don't, then it gets a little tricky and it's hard to sustain or maybe even get started. So I just really applaud you for taking small steps and not being above them. I think that it's the small little things that add up to the big things. I used to have a quote next to my door that said, the smallest act is better than the greatest intentions. So really wonderful just doing the small things because they truly do add up to the big things. It's like the saying about, the steps getting up the mountain, one step at a time. And so very, very excited that you guys are picking your steps and doing them one at a time and you're climbing your mountain. All right, today I kind of listen and watch for themes. And the theme that has been kind of coming back in my personal life and my professional life with students has been this whole idea of how do we interact with people when we have either felt offended by them or hurt by them or frustrated with them. What do we do? And so this phrase I loved when I learned, but it's really about seeking to understand. When you think of people and you think of behavior and you think of actions, typically it's like the iceberg theory, right? So we are only seeing one part of the behavior and we don't really understand where it's come from. We don't understand the person's lens. We don't know the person's experiences. And so we just get this tip, right? And then we react to the tip and then we both kind of get in trouble then because we can kind of spiral into our own path based on our own experiences about how frustrated or offended we are that they said this or they did this. And I think right now, this world is filled with opportunities to be offended or frustrated or misunderstand people. And I would just really encourage us, all of us, to pause and recognize, one, what else could this mean? Two, how might I seek to understand what they mean instead of react to what they said or did? And I really love that because it gives us a chance to get to the heart of the matter. And my sense is, people are pretty similar in a lot of ways. We just always come at things maybe a little different, right? We have different approaches or personalities are a little different, but when you come down to our human needs, I speak on this all the time, we all have very similar needs and similar things drive us. However, again, how do we navigate those things is what makes us different. And how we speak about those things definitely makes us different. Some people have a softer approach, some people have a more aggressive approach, some people have a passive approach, some people, don't say anything at all, ever. And so you just never really know where they're at. And I would just really encourage us to pause and then ask, how might I learn more about this person in this moment? So whether you're a teacher and a student continues to interrupt you or act out, or you're somebody that's looking at social media and posts are starting to really get you hot, check in with that person. Maybe just say, help me understand your viewpoint because that's not how I think. And I just really want to understand where you're coming from. Because I think what happens is when we don't, we just assume. We make a judgment call. And then that judgment call, to be honest, a lot of times isn't really great. We, as humans, again, kind of have this default setting where we tend to go negative versus positive. And unless we train ourselves to say, what else could this mean? And come up with 5 other positive versions of this, we typically will react to ourselves and our own way of thinking and put it through this lens that might not be very loving. And that's really the challenge here is I would love for you, next time you're with a student, a spouse, a neighbor, a acquaintance, what would it look like to see them through the lens of love and pause and seek to understand more about that person? Because at the heart of the matter, most people, again, want the same things. And what I find, I have friends on the entire spectrum of all the things happening right now. And what I notice when I listen to all of them, they really are passionate, and they really believe so wholeheartedly that this is for the best. And everyone that I talk to, opposite sides of the spectrum, really feels that this is the most loving thing that we could be doing right now. And it's interesting just to hear where their heart is versus sometimes maybe where their words put them into this arena of a side. So remember, we don't need to label people. We label jars. We don't need to compartmentalize things. We just need to seek to understand. I'm wishing you a great week, you guys. Hope this mindset shift was a gift, and I'll see you next week. Bye.